Welcome to Nineworks TV. Now, the price of a brand new Porsche 911 Carrera S in the UK will set you back £102,800. In today's video, we're going to be looking at flat six alternatives to that 992 Carrera S for the same cost or less. Before we go anywhere, it's worth pointing out that all of today's cars and more can all be found online on the nineworks.co.uk marketplace. Currently there's over 60 Porsche 911s all available for you to take a look at. The beauty of the Nineworks marketplace, and this is the sole reason why we set this up, is the cars are only for sale by approved independent specialists. Now, these are all companies and concerns in the UK who I have known and personally vetted, having worked with them for over 10 years, okay? So I'm calling on over a decade's experience from myself and others that help run the Nineworks brand. And it's an invite-only scenario there, by the way. There are plenty of features on the Nineworks marketplace. It is the place to buy a used Porsche for the Porsche connoisseur. You can get finance quotes for every single car you see on that Nineworks marketplace, and our expert partners at Rare Car Finance will get directly in touch with you. Again, they're one of the leading finance concerns in the industry. We are delighted to be working with them at Nineworks. You can also request an independent inspection. You can also contact the specialist selling the car directly. There's a host of ways you can do that via the Nineworks marketplace. And if you want to keep an eye on a car or share it with some friends, you can add these cars to your garage, which is one of the features on the Nineworks members area. Of course, if you haven't signed up yet, just go to nineworks.co.uk/register, sign up to be a Nineworks member. It's free of charge. That's the opening spiel anyway. Let's dive into the flat six alternatives to a brand new Porsche 911 Carrera S. It is a 991.1 C2 GTS from Paragon Porsche. There is so much going for this car, okay? I mean, we all know the 991.1 GTS is the last naturally aspirated flat six engine in a 911, away from the GT cars, of course. It's an absolute cracker. It sounds amazing. As a quick reminder, the GTS was introduced from the 997 generation, really to bridge the gap between the Carrera S and that GT car, genuine GT car in the GT3. The GTS umbrella is, in fairness, quite large. You can choose from coupe, cab or targa body styles, C2 or C4, manual or PDK. Spec-wise, this is what's the holy trinity for purists within that GTS sphere. Rear-wheel drive, tin top, and with a manual gearbox. Now, that specification in 991.1 generation is extremely rare, so it's a proper driver's car. The 3.8 litre naturally aspirated flat six developing 430 horsepower. Don't forget that's up from the 400 horsepower of the 991.1 C2S. In terms of optional extras, listen to this, okay? So yeah, leather bucket seats, guards red dials, guards red chrono clock face, deletion of rear seats as well. Don't forget, for the GTS you could leave them in, but these have been whooped out in playing right into that driver spec this car has. It's finished in guards red. It comes with a ducktail on the back from Porsche's equipment range. It's only driven just over 6,000 miles from new in 2015, so the car is begging to be driven, and that person doing the driving could well be you. Paragon are retailing the car at 92,995 quid, so it's going to leave you a healthy 10 grand in the bank over a 992 Carrera S. Check it out. I'll put a direct link to that car in the description below, but that really is a cracker of an alternative to a new 992 Carrera S, as I said, with some money left over in the bank. Okay, second car in our fantastic flat six alternatives to a 992 Carrera S. If you're thinking, well look, a GTS is cool, but what about a genuine GT car from Weissach? Well, we've got that on the Nineworks marketplace, and a car that's really caught my eye is this 996.2 GT3 Club Sport, available at RPM Technik. Priced at $87,995, this gets you a genuine GT car from Weissach. Think motorsport engine, motorsport gearbox. Now, this car really is reserved for the driver among the audience here, okay? Not only is it a 996.2 GT3, the first GT3 incidentally breathed on by Andreas Preuninger and his team at Weissach all those years ago. It's the Club Sport spec as well. So M003 includes the half roll cage, of course, and the fire extinguisher and the harnesses. As I mentioned, proper driver's car, highly desirable. It's got 45,000 miles on the clock. Certainly not usable every day as much as that GTS is that we've just spoken about, but again, a top draw Porsche GT car. And at 87,995 will leave you even more money in the bank over that 992 Carrera S. And it goes without saying, the 996.2 GT3 is a surefire investment purchase as well. Okay, the third flat six alternative to a 992 Carrera S, I'm going to stay with GT3. Now, we've recently done an article on nineworks.co.uk about this, looking at which is the better buy, the 996 or 997 GT3. I'll put a link in the description below so you can take a look at that. We've asked a range of experts for their views. It's definitely one to take a look at. But as I mentioned, if for whatever reason the 996 GT3 isn't for you, for very similar money, you can step into the 997.1 GT3. A great example of which on the Nineworks marketplace currently is this one from JZM. Now, I mentioned that 996 GT3 from RPM was as hardcore as you can get in the club sport. Well, this 997.1 GT3 from JZM is the comfort spec, okay? So it's eminently more usable on the public road. Comfort spec, of course, means there's no cage. We've also got electrically adjustable sport seats, hardback sport seats, I must point out, rather than the fixed buckets. The exterior, by the way, is basalt black, so we're stepping away from guards red for the first time on this video. I mean, that car to me is just absolutely timeless. It looks stunning. Like the 996, it's Metzger engined, it's 6-speed manual. It is a step on dynamically over the 996 as well. This basalt black comfort spec car from JZM has under 30,000 miles on the clock and is available for 92,900. So again, as I mentioned, it's pretty ballpark similarity to the 996 GT3. For my fourth choice that's caught my eye on the Nineworks marketplace, I'm going to go right back to the 1980s, the good old 1980s. That means we're going air-cooled for the first time on this video to look at a 3.2 Carrera Cabriolet. Now, those that listen to the Nineworks Radio podcast will know I absolutely adore classic cabriolets. It's an itch I'm really going to have to scratch before long. Again, it's available at JZM. JZM have got two in their stock currently. One in guards red, comes with a whale tail. The other one here, this black example, is a flatback. And to my mind, anything open topped from that era, be it cabriolet or Targa, it should do without all the turbo wings and tings. It should be a nice, beautiful flat back, which is exactly what this example is. It's extremely low mileage, only 30,000 miles. That's less than 1,000 miles for every year it's been rolling or actually sitting on planet Earth. So super, super low mileage. It's up for a smidge under £80,000. So lots of money left in the bank, which in fairness, you're gonna need to run these, and they do require a little bit of investment to keep them in tip-top shape. This black on black cabriolet example is a C16 UK supplied car. The seats are sport seats. Now, it kind of blows my mind really that one of the best sport seats Porsche ever made is still that seat from back in the 80s. The side bolsters on them are so wide, it provides so much lateral hold. Realistically, you're not going to call on that too often in a classic 911 Cabriolet, but they are one of the most comfiest and most supportive seats that Porsche has ever made. As ever, a good service history is always important, particularly on these air-cooled cars. It's really important to get a flavour of the sort of life that car has lived prior to your purchase. It will certainly give a good indication as to how much money you are going to need to spend on it, maintaining it. Pleasingly as well, just looking through the history file, some good money has been spent on this in the past. It has had a respray, convertible top has been replaced as well. These are all big savings. Right, penultimate car, and it's all about variety on this video. This time we're going turbocharged with this lovely 997.1 available at RPM Technik. The 997 Turbo is a fantastic all-round everyday Porsche 911 that will not fail to put a smile on your face. Very usable, very tractable day to day. It's also still incredibly quick by modern standards as well. It's actually more powerful than the 992 Carrera S that we're comparing these cars to. As I said, this car from RPM Technik, it's an absolute cracker in terms of spec, it has to be said. It's got adaptive sport seats with the memory function. It comes with that Tiptronic gearbox, which, as I said, for urban areas is fantastic. It's also a pretty cool gearbox to live with, perfectly usable, and actually complements the 997 Turbo setup rather nicely. This turbo also comes with Sport Chrono package, park assist at the rear, sunroof as well, a telephone module, sat nav, which admittedly is going to be quite old now. That on top, of course, of the full whack of 997 turbo arsenal. 480 horsepower delivered by twin turbochargers, 4-wheel drive for maximum traction and grip, iconic turbo big red brakes, the list goes on and on and on. It's amazing that it's only done 28,000 miles. This is a 15-year-old Porsche 911 turbo, don't forget, and it's got super low mileage, so it's begging for someone to use this car as intended. The very best bit about it is the price, $62,995. You have got stacks of money left over in comparison to a 992 Carrera S, and really isn't going to go south in terms of price anytime soon. Right, on to the last car of our fantastic flat six alternatives to a brand new 992 Carrera S. Now this car really is a wild card, okay, and I'm really happy to present this to you. It shows the variety of what's online, what we've got on the Nineworks marketplace, and it's this, a Bogo entry-level 997.1 Carrera available from the good guys at Paragon. Now it's been said before, and I'm absolutely an advocate for this motion, that the entry-level Carrera really is all the 911 you need. And it's particularly interesting when you consider the 997.1 generation was the first time that Porsche introduced that split in the Carrera range, offering the Carrera S above the Carrera and the 4S above the 4. So it's the first time, as I say, that 911 Carrera range really split into different derivatives. Needless to say, most people went for the 3.8 litre Carrera S and the various upgrades it brought. But the entry-level Carrera 3.6 litre M97 flat six engine is awesome. It's a brilliant 911 out the box. As I mentioned earlier in the video, that 997.1 generation returned the 911 to the traditional look, got rid of the 996's controversial fried egg headlights. It's a much better screwed together car over the 996. It was a return to form for Porsche. Let's dive into the car at Paragon then. So relatively low mileage for a car of this age. It's only done 60,000 miles. It comes, of course, with a 6-speed manual gearbox. Seal grey, it's a really nice colour, particularly on a Porsche of this vintage, with dark blue interior. And again, feeding into the beauty of this car, its spec is quite minimal, okay? So listen to this. The spec is as far as sat-nav, cruise control, a CD auto changer, rear parking sensors, and a rear wiper. That's it. That's all the 911 you need, particularly, and again, there's a big motion that today's super sports cars, they're far too fast for UK roads. Something like this, a 997, 325 horsepower, weight around about the 1300 kilos, 1350 kilos. It's a perfect power to weight ratio for a fun, engaging drive on British roads. And again, strip out all the options, strip it away, and you've just got a proper Porsche 911 sports car at its heart. It's exactly what this is. It's relatively low mileage with 60,000 miles on the clock, which is outstanding for a car that's 17 years old. At Paragon have got this priced at $32,995. I mean, it's outstanding value for money. That is an absolute cracker and is something that you can enjoy guilt-free for a lot of years, and the prices are just not going to go any lower than that. And there we have it. There are fantastic flat six alternatives to a new 992 Carrera S. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's definitely something I'll be looking to do a little bit more often on this channel. Again, just highlighting the outstanding cars that we've got on the Nineworks marketplace. If there's any themes that you would like to see us attack for this sort of feature, drop me a line in the comments below or via hello@nineworks.co.uk. And that's it. We'll see you soon.